They thought it was just an embarrassing accident that would be forgotten by next week. Wrestling fans around the world watched Brock Lesnar's pants completely split down the back after delivering an F5 to R-Truth on SmackDown and assumed it was an unfortunate wardrobe malfunction that happens sometimes in professional wrestling. But what happened in that arena wasn't just fabric failure, it was the explosive culmination of months of systematic corporate sabotage, deliberate humiliation campaigns, and psychological warfare that reveals WWE's most sickening conspiracy against their own superstars. What you're about to discover about the real reason Brock's pants split at that exact moment will make your blood boil with rage at how far WWE executives were willing to go to destroy the career and dignity of wrestling's most legitimate badass. The moment that exposed everything happened at exactly 10:47 p.m. during what was supposed to be a routine squash match between Brock Lesnar and R-Truth. Brock had just hoisted R-Truth up for his signature F5, a move he had performed thousands of times without incident, when his pants suddenly exploded along the back seam with a sound so loud it was picked up by the arena's audio system and broadcast to millions of viewers worldwide. The sound wasn't like normal fabric tearing, one ringside observer later revealed with disturbing realization. It was like something had been pre-weakened specifically to fail under the exact amount of stress that an F5 would create. The timing was too perfect, too calculated to be accidental. But what made Brock's wardrobe malfunction even more suspicious was the immediate corporate response. Instead of cutting to commercial or finding ways to minimize the embarrassment, WWE cameras lingered on the scene, captured multiple angles of Brock's humiliation, and ensured that his moment of vulnerability would be preserved in high definition for endless replay and social media distribution. WWE has protocols for wardrobe malfunctions, a former production assistant revealed anonymously. Camera cuts, strategic positioning, immediate damage control, none of that happened for Brock. It was like they wanted to capture and amplify his embarrassment rather than protect their own performer. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of Brock's pants splitting wasn't the immediate embarrassment, it was what happened in the moments immediately following, when Brock's psychological response revealed just how effectively WWE's systematic humiliation campaign had been designed to break his spirit. Brock's face wasn't just embarrassed, another witness observed with growing horror. He looked broken, defeated, like someone who had been psychologically prepared for this exact moment of public humiliation. This wasn't surprise, this was the culmination of systematic psychological conditioning. The corporate conspiracy behind Brock's pants splitting goes back months to when WWE executives first identified him as a threat to their control structure. As Roman Reigns had revealed in his explosive interview, Brock was targeted for systematic humiliation because he represented everything WWE's corporate culture opposed: legitimate athletic achievement, financial independence, and the refusal to be controlled by executive manipulation. Brock's pants were treated with chemical compounds designed to weaken fabric integrity, a source with access to WWE's wardrobe department confirmed. Not enough to cause immediate failure, but sufficient to ensure catastrophic breakdown under the specific physical stress of his signature wrestling moves. The systematic sabotage of Brock's wrestling gear revealed a level of premeditation that transformed his wardrobe malfunction from accident into evidence of corporate conspiracy designed to humiliate and control performers through manufactured vulnerability. They studied Brock's in-ring style, the source continued with obvious disgust, analyzed the specific physical stresses his moves created, calculated the exact weakening necessary to cause failure at maximum embarrassment moments, and applied those calculations to systematically sabotage his equipment. But the chemical treatment of Brock's pants was just one component of a comprehensive humiliation program that had been targeting him for months through increasingly sophisticated psychological warfare designed to break his confidence and force his submission to corporate control. Brock's ring gear had been systematically compromised for weeks, another insider revealed. Boots designed to slip at crucial moments, gloves treated to reduce grip strength, even his entrance music had been subtly altered to throw off his psychological preparation rhythm. The systematic sabotage of every aspect of Brock's professional presentation revealed WWE's humiliation campaign as more than isolated incidents. It was comprehensive psychological warfare designed to destroy his credibility and force his dependence on corporate protection. They wanted Brock to start doubting himself, a sports psychologist familiar with the situation explained. Systematic equipment failures, mysterious performance issues, embarrassing moments that seemed accidental but followed too perfect a pattern to be coincidental. But perhaps the most sickening aspect of WWE's campaign against Brock was their recruitment of R-Truth as an unwitting participant in his humiliation, using the respected veteran's reputation for comedy to provide cover for their systematic sabotage. R-Truth had no idea he was being used, a source close to the situation revealed. He thought he was just doing a routine job match with Brock, never realizing that WWE had specifically chosen him because his comedic reputation would make Brock's humiliation seem more like entertainment than systematic abuse. The exploitation of R-Truth's good nature and professional reputation to provide cover for corporate sabotage revealed how thoroughly WWE's conspiracy corrupted even innocent interactions between performers. They told R-Truth that Brock had specifically requested to work with him, the source continued with obvious anger. Made him feel honored and special, never revealing that he was being used as a prop in systematic psychological warfare against a fellow performer. But the corporate conspiracy behind Brock's pants splitting extended far beyond just equipment sabotage to include coordinated media campaigns designed to amplify his humiliation and transform a single embarrassing moment into lasting damage to his professional reputation. Wrestling media outlets received prepared statements about Brock's decline within minutes of his pants splitting, a former WWE media relations employee revealed. Talking points about his age, his physical condition, his ability to handle the demands of modern wrestling, all designed to use his momentary embarrassment as evidence of broader professional inadequacy. The speed and coordination of the media response revealed corporate preparation that confirmed the systematic nature of Brock's humiliation rather than spontaneous reaction to an unexpected incident. They had social media campaigns ready to launch, the source continued with disgust at the corporate manipulation. Memes, jokes, viral content, all prepared in advance to ensure that Brock's embarrassment would be permanently preserved and continuously circulated. But perhaps the most damaging evidence of WWE's conspiracy was the discovery that Brock's pants splitting had been just the opening move in an escalating campaign designed to systematically destroy his credibility and force his retirement from wrestling. The pants were Phase 1, an internal WWE document obtained by wrestling media revealed, designed to create initial embarrassment and psychological vulnerability that would make him susceptible to additional humiliation and eventual medical intervention. The systematic planning of escalating humiliation revealed WWE's conspiracy as more than simple embarrassment. It was comprehensive performer destruction designed to eliminate Brock as an independent threat to corporate authority. Phase 2 was supposed to be equipment failures during signature moves. The document continued with clinical detachment, turnbuckle collapses during suplexes, ring rope failures during clotheslines, mat problems during ground and pound sequences, all designed to make Brock appear weak and incompetent. But the most sickening aspect of WWE's campaign against Brock was Phase 3 of their systematic humiliation program, which revealed corporate sadism that transcended business considerations and entered the realm of genuine psychological torture. Phase 3 involved medical manipulation. The document revealed with horror that made everyone understand this was about systematic abuse rather than corporate politics. Scheduled random drug tests designed to find performance-enhancing substances that would be planted in his system, medical examinations that would discover concerning health issues requiring immediate corporate intervention. The systematic plan to frame Brock for drug violations and manufacture medical concerns revealed WWE's conspiracy as more than humiliation. It was systematic character assassination designed to justify his elimination from wrestling entirely. They were planning to destroy him professionally, personally, and medically, a legal expert observed after reviewing the documented evidence. Not just end his career, but eliminate any possibility that he could recover his reputation or challenge their narrative about his decline and problems. But Brock's psychological response to his pants splitting revealed just how effectively WWE's months-long conditioning campaign had prepared him for systematic humiliation and broken his natural resistance to corporate manipulation. Brock didn't fight back, a ringside observer noted with obvious concern. The man who had always been defiant, aggressive, and unwilling to accept disrespect just stood there looking defeated while cameras captured his embarrassment from every angle. The successful conditioning of Brock to accept rather than resist humiliation demonstrated the effectiveness of WWE's psychological warfare and revealed how systematic abuse could break even the strongest personalities. They had been conditioning him for months, a psychological warfare expert explained after studying the footage. Small embarrassments, minor equipment failures, subtle undermining of his confidence, all building toward this moment when he would be psychologically prepared to accept major humiliation without fighting back. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect of Brock's pants splitting was the immediate corporate response, which revealed that WWE executives were more interested in amplifying his embarrassment than protecting their own performer from public humiliation. Normal protocol would have been immediate damage control, a former WWE production manager explained. Cut to commercial, provide alternative camera angles, minimize the incident. Instead, they treated it like the main event of the show. The corporate decision to amplify rather than minimize Brock's embarrassment provided final confirmation that his wardrobe malfunction had been engineered rather than accidental. They had cameras positioned for optimal embarrassment capture, the source continued with growing horror. Multiple angles, close-up shots, slow-motion replays, everything designed to ensure maximum humiliation rather than performer protection. But the most shocking revelation about Brock's pants splitting came from analysis of the fabric itself, which revealed chemical alterations so sophisticated that it required professional knowledge and specialized equipment to implement. This wasn't amateur sabotage, a textile expert revealed after examining samples of Brock's torn pants. The chemical treatment was precisely calibrated to weaken the fabric just enough to fail under specific stress levels while maintaining normal appearance and feel. The professional sophistication of the sabotage revealed corporate resources and expertise that elevated the conspiracy beyond simple workplace harassment to systematic performer abuse requiring significant financial investment and technical knowledge. The compounds used require specialized knowledge and equipment, the expert continued with obvious admiration for the technical sophistication despite moral horror at its application. This level of sabotage suggests professional consultation and significant budget allocation. But perhaps the most personally devastating aspect of Brock's pants splitting was the impact it had on his relationship with his family, particularly his children who had to watch their father's public humiliation broadcast to millions of viewers worldwide. Brock's kids saw their dad's embarrassment on live television, a source close to the family revealed with obvious emotional impact. Children who looked up to him as this invincible warrior suddenly saw him vulnerable and humiliated in front of the entire world. The family impact of WWE's systematic humiliation campaign revealed corporate cruelty that extended far beyond professional consequences to include deliberate destruction of personal relationships and family dynamics. His daughter asked him why he didn't fight back, the source continued with heartbreaking detail. Brock couldn't explain that months of systematic conditioning had broken his natural response to humiliation without revealing the full scope of what WWE had done to him. But Brock's pants splitting also revealed the broader implications of WWE's humiliation campaigns for other performers who might be targeted for similar treatment in the future. Every wrestler watching Brock's embarrassment understood that it could happen to them, a locker room source revealed anonymously. If WWE was willing to systematically humiliate someone of Brock's stature and legitimacy, nobody was safe from corporate psychological warfare. The deterrent effect of Brock's public humiliation served WWE's broader strategy of maintaining performer compliance through fear of similar treatment rather than positive motivation or fair compensation. Wrestlers started checking their own gear obsessively, the source continued with obvious concern for the psychological impact on the entire roster. Looking for signs of tampering, testing equipment before matches, living in constant fear that they might be next for systematic humiliation. But perhaps the most significant outcome of Brock's pants splitting was the documentation it provided for federal investigators who were already building cases against WWE for systematic performer abuse and corporate conspiracy. Brock's humiliation was captured from multiple angles with professional quality equipment, a law enforcement source confirmed. Combined with the chemical analysis of his sabotaged pants and the internal documents detailing the systematic nature of the campaign, it provides compelling evidence of corporate conspiracy and civil rights violations. The evidence that Brock's pants splitting provided for criminal prosecution elevated his personal embarrassment into potential federal charges that could destroy WWE's corporate structure and send executives to prison for decades. Corporate psychological warfare, systematic humiliation campaigns, and deliberate sabotage of employee equipment could result in charges ranging from conspiracy to hate crimes. The source continued with satisfaction that justice might finally be served. But Brock's pants splitting also triggered something unexpected. It broke the psychological conditioning that months of systematic abuse had created and reignited his natural resistance to corporate manipulation and control. Something changed in Brock's eyes after the initial shock wore off, a backstage observer noted with growing excitement. Like he suddenly realized what had been done to him and decided that he wasn't going to accept it anymore. The psychological awakening that Brock experienced following his public humiliation suggested that WWE's campaign might have ultimately backfired by pushing him beyond his breaking point and triggering his natural resistance to abuse. Brock started asking questions, another source revealed with obvious satisfaction. About his equipment, about the timing of his embarrassment, about why WWE seemed more interested in amplifying his humiliation than protecting him from it. But perhaps the most important outcome of Brock's pants splitting was the solidarity it generated among other performers who began understanding that they were all potential targets of systematic corporate abuse disguised as normal business operations. Wrestlers started talking to each other, a locker room source revealed with growing optimism. Comparing experiences, sharing suspicious incidents, realizing that many of their own embarrassing moments and equipment failures might not have been accidental. The performer solidarity that emerged from Brock's humiliation promised to transform wrestling from individual competitors accepting abuse in isolation to unified resistance against systematic corporate psychological warfare. Brock's embarrassment became a rallying point, the source continued with obvious emotion. Proof that WWE's abuse could target anyone and evidence that performers needed to protect each other from corporate psychological warfare. The wrestling world was still processing the implications of Brock Lesnar's pants splitting and the systematic corporate conspiracy that had engineered his public humiliation. But his embarrassment had accomplished something WWE never intended. It had exposed their psychological warfare program and triggered performer resistance that could transform the entire industry. Brock's pants may have split, one final observer noted with satisfaction, but they revealed something that WWE wanted to keep hidden: systematic performer abuse disguised as normal business operations. The fabric had torn, but the truth was finally exposed. Brock Lesnar's moment of vulnerability had become wrestling's moment of awakening, and the corporate psychological warfare that created his embarrassment was finally facing the consequences it had earned through systematic cruelty. The split heard around the wrestling world had revealed more than just Brock's underwear. It had exposed WWE's systematic evil and triggered the resistance that could finally set performers free from corporate psychological torture disguised as sports entertainment.